I'm Bob Kamall. I'm a Senior Policy Advisor within the Service Transformation Implementation Team, which is part of the Transformational Government Unit within the Cabinet Office. I've been working on service transformation for about 7 years now, going back to the days when we were the office of the NI14, focused very much on electronic service delivery. At that time, I worked in what was called a local government team, and that worked in support of the then ODPM and the local eGov programme. So I've been flirting around the edges of local government for about 7 years now. I became more involved in service transformation per se as we moved from the Office of the Envoy into Transformational Government Unit, and the publication of the service transformation enabled by ICT strategy back in November 2005. From there onwards, we've been working a lot with Sir David Varney and his review of service delivery and development of what's called a service transformation agreement, and from that working with the IDA, CLG and others, in particular pilot local authorities, on the development of National Indicator 14 on reducing service avoidable contact. This is linked to the Service Transformation Agreement, which outlines the need to reduce avoidable contact as a way of saving resources and causing less frustration for the general public. It's also linked to the Performance Management Framework for Contact Centres, which is mandatory for central government, but again has a number of local authorities involved in its development and submitting returns to it. So we picked on avoidable contact as a kind of catch-all way of working out what's happening on service transformation. We ran a number of workshops with pilot local authorities to understand what we mean by avoidable contact, how to measure it, and how to wrap it up as a performance indicator within the new local government performance framework. And that's why National Indicator 14 is in the local government performance framework. Having agreed that NI14 would be in the local government performance framework and agreed the definition of NI14, we continued working with the pilot local authorities from across local government to understand the lessons they learnt from doing the pilots. We commissioned the IDA to actually work with these pilot local authorities and to actually talk to them to understand the lessons learnt. All this learning was captured together and placed into the guidance document, which was published at the beginning of July. The guidance document outlines how pilot local authorities have gone around doing NI14, the importance of doing NI14, and how we see it as a strategic indicator for service transformation. I think the guidance document is an important document for local authorities approaching NI14 because it outlines all the background to do it and practical examples. But just as importantly, it also explains how the Audit Commission is looking at NI14 from the point of view of the comprehensive area assessments. The first thing to say is that the guidance document is not the be-all and end-all. It's only a snapshot of what we've learned so far. Given the complexity of services covered by local authorities and the way that local authorities are organised, the development of local area agreements and ongoing development of local strategic partnerships, we imagine that there's a lot more still to be learnt. So we would imagine the guidance document would have more to be added to it over a period of time, and at some point may have to be completely rewritten, but we expect to publish more case studies as time goes on. For me, the importance of National Indicator 14 is not the output. The idea that you could produce a number X over Y equals Z% is not in itself of much value. Where the value is to be found is in the underlying data that you collect to reach that figure. This provides a rich source of customer insight by service lines, by channels where avoidable contact has taken place, and understanding the causes behind avoidable contact linked to your own local strategic priorities helps to identify where transformation has to be made. NI14 is not about the front office, it is about end-to-end service transformation and making changes across your organisation and with your strategic partners. NI14 is not a performance indicator for front offices. It is, as I said, about end-to-end service transformation. It requires working across silos within local authorities. It requires working with partners to deliver better services for the end users, the customers and the taxpayers. So we have to think very carefully about how we expand out over a over time, but the important thing is to start collecting data where you can. Not to worry too much about the methodology of getting it right. You do what's right for each local authority. The Audit Commission recognises this. They accept the fact that NI14 is not a comparable indicator and that the figures that you produce will vary so widely between each local authority. The important thing for the first year or so is to start getting data and understanding what avoidable contact is, and then expand that out across your organisation.